What makes Mount Auburn so special?
How did it become so special? Well, it didn't come special easily. It sort of evolved into a special thing. We had a wonderful position in this city to do, I think, great ministry. And we had some fortunate, we had an endowment that helped us. Our membership was low. I worried about how many were showing up for services. And so we had some faithful people, though.
It was the people, yes. It was really the people that make Mount Auburn great.
So, of course, the big issue of our day was the full inclusion of gay and lesbian persons into the life of the church. And the Presbyterian Church hadn't allowed that. And, well, I didn't believe that. Before coming to Mount Auburn, I had preached that we have to get rid of that policy. And I didn't bother until we got here. And that particular community had a lot of gay people in it, but we didn't think there was any in the church. So it was just a justice issue. We did the study material the denomination sent down. Of course, they approved a minority report which said gay and lesbian persons were not really blessed with their orientation, and they need to be loved and accepted, but not as to be ordained or take leadership positions in this church, or married. That wasn't even thought of then, and so forth.
How do coming back today and seeing where Mount Auburn is today, how would you describe both your feeling and then also just how it seems like the church is doing today?
This church right today is impressive. I know the kind of characters in most all of the congregation, even though we have been out of this area for the last 7 years. But they are incredibly dedicated to openness, inclusion, across the board.
And involvement in the community, doing so many good things. It's inspiring to be back here.
There's a sense, though, that they're comfortable with themselves because basically the denomination came around to what we were.
It took a while, but they did it.
They did. And, well, you know, denominations are conservative, you know, in nature. But they have brilliant leadership now in this church. And I see any problems ahead for them as long as they show up for duty at worship every...
If you were to describe Mount Auburn to anyone who was looking for a church, what would you say?
Well, my kids would go to church again if they could find a church like Mount Auburn. How's that for us?
We think so.
Yeah, and,
that's what they tell us.
Yeah, and
progressive, I would say, progressive, forward-looking, and inclusive globally. That's inclusive in all areas.
It's got a well-rounded ministry and so forth. A strong music ministry that was incredible. And I think intellectually, theologically, quite broad, and beyond that sometimes you see in a local congregation. I've always said you should never take the congregation, you always should take the congregation seriously. Don't preach down to them. You just got to put what's on your heart to them and think it'll be grasped. And we had really no serious problems. After we announced our position, didn't know a gay person in our congregation. Within a few years, because of our openness and our genuine welcome in the community, plus the fact that we had more publicity in this city because we were unique, which is a strange and sad thing to say. Our membership just practically doubled. And we had more talent coming in. And we had a lot of trouble with the denomination, illegal trouble. But it was all goodwill. We enjoyed the whole shebang. It was a wonderful journey. And now that they've come around to it, you would wonder how you ever wanted to be in a church that was straight and narrow. And this is an all-embracing congregation here. And it's
And since we've left, it's been very difficult to find anything that meets the standards of Mount Auburn, and so that has been hard, and it's wonderful to be back here, which is really my spiritual home and the place where music is just ringing from the rafters. It's great to be here.
We sent a lot of missionaries out from this church with their inclusion and diversity policy, and it had quite an effect in a lot of churches. One was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Sixth Presbyterian Church,
Yes.
the home of Mr. Rogers, of TB.
Yes.
And Betty and I were invited to come up to do a workshop on how you can marry people of the same sex. We'd show them a service to do that. Well, and I was to preach the next Sunday. What happened was
That was the week Mr. Rogers died.
on Wednesday. On Wednesday, he died.
And
A beloved person, and he and his wife of that congregation. So I called the church and told them, I said, you've got better things to do than have me up there, and us. We'll come some other time, and you'll probably want to do it. Because it was a big thing in that congregation. And I said, you talk to your session. Well, they did talk and called me back a couple of days, and he said, no, we want you to come up. I want you to do the workshop. I want you to do the service. Well, it's right by Pittsburgh Seminary, too, which was a little slow in inclusion. And but I remember saying that at Mount Auburn Church, I was telling this congregation, we have a welcoming policy. In fact, the other day at the service, our elder started the service off, and he said, here at Mount Auburn, you really, really, really are welcome. And I, in the name of the great physician, which would
the great pediatrician.
Pediatrician. I told the
Yes.
pediatrician, and we welcome you. And I said, how do you know that was a serious welcome? Well, first place, the elder was a gay man.
Yes.
He was a black man, and he was a pediatrician, just like Mr. Rogers. And that made us feel right at home.
They loved that.
Yeah.
That was
You ought to go see that movie on
a
it.
good touch. Yes, Mr.
great.
Rogers'
Yeah.
neighborhood. It was very.
Oh, we had great times in this church.
Yes, we
Great
have.
fellowship.
But
We had,
mostly great people.
we had more house parties. I had a house.
Yes, we did.
Some of our Advent services were incredible. Yeah. So we
Anything else?
have no, we were not going to be around here much longer, but we're not worried about this church. Not at all.
Doing well.
That's great.
Yeah.
I hope this all took, it's hard
Yeah.
to tell. What I want to do, just to be sure I got Betty, I liked what you said too about the friendships or something along
Yeah.
those lines. So what I'm
Um,
going to do, why don't you just hold this,
Okay.
stand next to Betty and,
Pardon? Oh,
I said, just stand there because you
Yeah,
don't have
sure.
the mic. So
Okay.
Okay.
make sure that, wait till I'm on
Okay.
here, Betty. Oh, it was still recording, so we're good.
Oh,
Betty,
okay.
you'd mentioned something about how this felt like home, and you've not found a...
Yes,
Say a little about
this
that.
is true. Mount Auburn is my church home, my spiritual home, my musical home in many ways, and it has been very hard to find something that provides the same nurture in another place and makes it doubly good to come back here at this time and to see all the people that we love.
Perfect. I think
Okay.
that's great.
Okay.